feel. After much pressure, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, being who he is, still lets them to see their failure before their own eyes. He so let them see their failure before their own eyes. Because if he refused to give them that opportunity, they will say he didn't. He gave them that opportunity at that time. But after all said and done, everybody saw it that the person who, on this same Peter Obi, this same Peter Obi who contested with Atiku Abubakar, they won the election. Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar won the election. It was a clear winning. They won the election. Undoubtedly. They won the election. But at the end of the day, the same Fulani people still put the person they want to put, Muhammadu Buhari. They didn't give up the power. They rigged the election. They rigged the election before your own very eyes. They rigged Muhammadu Buhari in again. Before your own very eyes. But today, some of you are pretending as if they don't know why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did what he did that time. They don't know what he... And you see somebody who will tell you that I love Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He said, but after Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did this, we have to do it. How many times will something happen to you before you learn a lesson? How many times? How many times will something happen to you before you learn your lesson? How many times? The reason why I do my program here, most of the time I come out, I'm coming out to encourage my fellow Biafrans. Those who are Biafrans, who are willing to fight for the freedom of Biafra. If you know that you are willing to fight for the freedom of Biafra, my message is for you. Not for those who claim to be Biafrans, but they are not. They are just Biafran in their mouth. There are so many of them. Today, there are so many of them. Even some of them who have not been supporting Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, today you see them. Some of them, when they speak about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, they are not talking about Mazen Nnamdi because they are talking about what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu stands for. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu stands for justice and equity. Freedom of Biafran people. That is what he has been asking. At a point in time, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say that he valued the freedom of Biafra more than his own life. He say, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say, if it is my death that is going to give Biafra, so be it. That shows you how Mazen Nnamdi Kanu valued Biafra. And you will come out and claim to love Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. You claim to be a follower of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. You claim to be a follower of man. At the same time, you will be there telling me that I should go and participate in an election. Are you not a fraud? You will see them. They will start their program very beautiful. They will start their program with sweet words. They will tell you, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is my idol. I love him. I respect him. I can never say anything bad about him. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu cannot support this. He cannot support this. He cannot support that. At the same time, you will see these people going against every single thing that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu stands for. They will be going against it. They will go against every single thing that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu stands for. When I saw that program today, I was really, really disappointed. It is not compulsory that all of us must be talking about this issue of Biafra. If you have other program that you are doing that is favoring you, go ahead with your program. We are not stopping you. If you have other humanitarian program you are doing, go ahead with your humanitarian program. Be focused on it. It is not mandatory that you must speak about the Biafra issue. Even people come to your comment section and tell you to do this, don't talk about it. Focus on that one that you know very well how to do. Focus on it. Just as I'm talking here, people can come to my comment section and be writing, I should talk about this, I must not talk about things you tell me to talk about. It is only when that thing you ask me to talk about connects to what I believe, connects to what I believe and what I trust, what I know is the truth, then I will talk about it. If anybody is telling you that every Biafran will come on board before Biafra will come, it is a lie. And if anybody is coming to ask you, oh yeah, tell me what we will do to get Biafra today, tell me what we will do to get Biafra so that we will stop, don't vote, don't tell me not to vote and you don't have anything, that person has never been doing anything. That person has never been fighting for Biafra. That person has never been listening to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That person has never been a follower of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Even they pretend, they have never. Because if you have been following and you have been listening to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, you cannot be asking me, what are you going to do to get Biafra? The foundation has been laid. Fundamentally, a lot of things are going on. Things are being done by Mazen Nandekano. Things are still going on. People are still doing something. Even as you're watching the video, things are still going on to make sure that Biafra comes. And Mazen Nandekano himself told us that consistency is the key. If you know that thing that you are doing that is making the world pay attention to your plight, pay attention to you, pay attention to what you're saying, continue to do it. Civil disobedience have continued to be the only thing that is drawing the attention of the world to us. Civil disobedience, these broadcasts we are making, the noise we are making all over the world, they have been drawing attention. And the world is now silent. They have started speaking. And above that, freedom doesn't come cheap. It comes with some cost. It will cost you a lot. It will cost you so much. It's going to cost you so much. It is going to cost you more than you don't even expect. And if you are asking for absolute freedom, not a hanky-panky freedom, you cannot be talking about election, because you know election will not grant you any freedom. You cannot be telling me to make sure we have to unite everybody together before. No, everybody cannot be together, but majority are going to be together. Just as you are seeing today, majority are already coming out to speak and connect to our brother Simon Ekpa, who is now piloting the real movement. A lot of people are coming on board. A lot of people are coming on board. But how can you now come on and you begin to divert people's attention from the real thing, and you are saying something that is irrelevant? How? How does it work? How? You and I know that for you to get your freedom, it's a process. It's a process. For you to get Biafra, it's a process. The release of Mazen Nandekano is a process. And we are already on that process. All we need to do is to maintain that very pressure. Maintain that very pressure and continue to add to the pressure what we are adding already on the ground. It is not everything will come online to tell you what is going on. It is not everything that you can mention online. There are certain things we don't pronounce online, so that they don't term it a different thing altogether. But I must tell you, so many things are going on. When you are encouraging people to go and vote, talk about election, you are actually distracting the freedom of the people. You are not part of the freedom. You are one of those who is still anchoring on the one Nigeria issue. And you tell me you love Biafra. There's no way you can love Biafra at the same time you love Nigeria. It doesn't work. You cannot tell me I want Biafra, I love Biafra, at the same time you love Nigeria and you want Nigeria. How does it work? How does these two work together? You come to your platform, you're holding a program, you say, I am a Biafra. In fact, I want this Biafra more than you want it. I am a Biafra. I love Mazen Nandekano. But we should allow P2B to vote. We should vote for P2B. We should try that one and see how it works. This is what we call deceit, and something that you know that is not possible. You cannot serve two masters. You will either love one and you hate one. You cannot serve two masters. There's no way you can serve two masters. You cannot. It is either you love one or you hate one. You must have to choose between the two. You cannot pretend and telling me that you see some group, they'll be telling you that they hate Biafra. We don't want to hear anything about Biafra, but they love Mazen Nandekano. How does it work? How does it work? How can you hate Biafra and you love Mazen Nandekano when you know that Mazen Nandekano is dying because of Biafra? Mazen Nandekano is giving his life because of Biafra. Mazen Nandekano is still saying that if taking my life is going to bring Biafra, so be it. And you say you hate that in his pursuit and you love him. How does it work? You come out on your platform, you say, I love Biafra, I am a Biafra. In fact, I am Biafra. You call your village, I am from Anambra State, I am from so place, I am a Biafra. I was born in Biafra land, I was brought in Biafra land. My mother and my father are Biafra, not a mixed blood. At the end of the day, let us vote, let's try and see. Let us have two ways. We cannot close all the way. Let us have two ways. We'll try this one, don't worry. That means you don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. Even this thing that you're claiming for us to try has been tried several times. It never worked. And if you think that Peter Obi is much more a good man than Goodluck Jonathan, you are deceiving yourself. Goodluck Jonathan was equally a good man. He has a good heart. He went to the extent of conducting the constitutional conference. While he was about to implement it, they removed him. He was removed. Simply because he wanted to follow the legal means, conducted a constitutional conference, people hold that conference, and all was pointing on restructuring and the changing of the constitution. When they saw it, they couldn't bear it. They made sure they didn't allow him to continue. They removed him by all means possible. They pushed him away. And if you are deceiving yourself, thinking that Peter Obi is much more of a lover, much more kind, or much more good, more than good or Jonathan, you are just deceiving yourself. You are just pursuing rhetoric. Good Luck was equally a good man. But what did he achieve? Where is he today? Where is he today? After all those movements he made, today Nigeria has deepened into much more mess than ever. It has deepened more into much more mess than ever. And you come and you tell me that when your brother is in power, who told you that your brother will be the one to release you? Who told you that? Who told you that your brother will be the one to release you? It doesn't work that way. That's not the way it works. Even the caliphate will prefer to use your brother to deal with you. That is what they have been doing. They don't use our brother to release us. They use our brother to deal with us. That's what I've been doing. They have been using our brothers and sisters to deal with us. That is what they do. If you think that your brother, when your brother gets to Asarok, it will favor you. It will not. Obasanjo was in Asarok. But when Obasanjo was in Asarok, he killed much more of people from the southwest more than any other people. He killed people from the south while Obasanjo was there. He destroyed life in Udi. He destroyed the OPC members. First-hand, he makes sure he almost wiped them away and disorganized them while Obasanjo was there. When Good Luck or Jonathan was there, what did he do in his own area? For you to know that he was a good man, even he was trying to change the constitution, going through the constitutional way to do it, they didn't allow him. They made sure they pushed him out. And that very constitutional conference today, they threw it to the dustbin. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody is talking about it. They said they don't know what is called restructuring. And you think that when your brother gets there, let me tell you, the person that is going to turn back the hand of the clock and make sure that you go back deep into your slavery is that your brother. That's what they do. They are very good in manipulating your own brother. They are very good. That is what they are good at, using your own brother against you. If anybody tells you that Soludo of all people, Soludo who has made broadcasts for Biafra, Soludo who has stood on the platform and defend Biafra, Soludo who has spoken for Biafra, will be somebody who will come today and begin to fight against Biafra agitation. Will you believe it? Will you believe it? If they tell you that Soludo will be fighting against Biafra agitation, will you believe it? But when we were saying no election in Anambra State, they said let us try it. I was busy campaigning and saying no election, I was talking about no election until the day they conducted the election. And after Soludo came in, those who were preaching that he's going to change things, he's a supporter of Biafra, he loves Biafra, he's one of the person who's going to stand for his people, he fight for. Today, how is Anambra State? How is Anambra State today? How many members of IPOB has he released since he became a governor? How many members of IPOB have he released from the prison? Even when he went and visited the prison, how many have he released? Give me the number. If you know how many number of the IPOB that Soludo have released, write it in the comment section. Have you ever heard anywhere that he went to the court and went to the prison in Anambra State? So many members of IPOB are in prison there. How many has he released since he came in? This was the person you say will give you Biafra. But instead, he is busy calling Biafra agitators criminals, calling them bandits, blackmailing them and killing innocent Biafras. This was somebody who was claiming to be a Biafra. Even when he was campaigning with the long Biafra. You see people who are supporting him then, they will begin to send you a video where he was talking about Biafra. But today, where is he? Are you going to talk about Imo State? Or Ebonyi State? Or Enugu State? The same way they are using governors against you, the same way they are going to use your brother that will be in Asarok. That's when it will even be the worst. If he succeeds in entering, he will first of all show example with his own people. They will want him to use his own people as an example. You saw when Good Luck was there. Good Luck was fighting to wipe away this Boko Haram. Good Luck did everything to take them out. But they refused. They said any attack against Boko Haram is an attack against the North. The North refused. This same thing that you see playing out today. You see the way they are defending their terrorists. Instead, they are paying them ransom, petting them, putting them into the military, putting them in Asoro, building this thing for them, accommodating all of them. And yet, with all these things that is happening, you're not waking up. The only thing I'm going to advise those of them who are say one Nigeria, who are talking about election, I'm not fighting you. I'm not going to beg you to join agitation. I won't join you. It is not compulsory. I say it again. It is not compulsory that everybody must join the agitation. It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. And there will never a time. There is never a time you will have 100% compliance of people joining the agitation. Because even in South Africa, while South Africa was fighting for their freedom, there are still some South Africans there who were okay being slaves in South Africa. There are people who were okay. In the United States, while Martin Luther King was fighting for the freedom of the blacks, there are some blacks who are comfortable being the house nigger. Those people will always be there. Some of you must have heard about the house nigger. There are people who are very, very comfortable. Some blacks that are very comfortable. They are comfortable in that very slavery because they are serving the slave master. They eat from the house of the slave master. Every food is on their table. Everything their family did, when their slave master eat and remain, they will have more than enough to eat and share to people. Just because of that little comfort, they are just okay. While Martin Luther King was there talking and fighting for freedom of the blacks, there are people who are very comfortable with the slavery. In South Africa, there are some South Africans who were very comfortable serving under the whites while they were fighting for their freedom. Some people were very comfortable. They were even acting as in command. Even when you talk about freedom, they will ask you for which kind of freedom. That they prefer the men serving what they're serving. People they call the house niggers. We still have this kind of people in that country called Nigeria. There are people that are very, very comfortable with just because maybe they have a business they are doing. They have a business they are doing. Every day they go to their business and they feel they are doing okay. They have a car they are riding. They don't care. They have money to buy generator. They have money to buy generator and buy fuel every day, every night. At least they can be able to afford the light throughout the whole night. So when you talk about freedom, they don't consider their neighbor. They don't consider their neighbor who doesn't have the money, who doesn't even have the money to buy a generator, let alone who doesn't have the money to buy fuel, let alone buy a generator. Who doesn't have money to buy fuel, talk about buying a generator. Some of them are just supporting because some of them now believe that when P2B gets there, now it will be their own turn and they can be able to get into Asarok and they can be able to perpetrate their own evil. They can be able to steal as much as they can. It is their own time to steal in Asarok. It is their own time. They will get employment. They will get it. But they are not considering the permanent freedom, forgetting that what they are talking about is temporary. It's temporary. You work in Asarok, you do this because your tribal man is there, you are working there, you are given opportunity because it is going to last at most, it is 8 years. After 8 years, what next? After 8 years, what next? You go to square one and begin to ask. And now you're now telling me that, okay, you go and vote P2B in. After voting P2B in, when P2B spend 8 years and come out, then you start Biafra agitation afresh. You will now start afresh to agitate. And if anybody is telling you that you can get Biafra, why P2B is there, you are deceiving yourself. You are deceiving yourself. If you think that P2B will go to Asarok and then getting Biafra will be easier for you, you are the greatest deceiver I've ever seen on the planet Earth. The greatest deceiver. Stop deceiving yourself. Stop deceiving yourself. You should know what you want. And what we want is permanent freedom, not a temporary one. A permanent freedom. A permanent freedom. And how are we going to get it? We are going to get it through being consistency in our request. Freedom and nothing else. Some will tell you that if you do vote or you don't vote, they will conduct an election, they will put somebody in. Of course they will put somebody in. Won't they? No, who is arguing whether they will put somebody in? In Imo State, even with your conducting election, they put somebody in there. In Imo State, after conducting election, they put somebody there. And in this election, whether you vote or you don't vote, already they have somebody they want to put, and the person is going to win. That very person is going to win. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say. The person is going to win. You see why you must not even give them that chance. Don't give them that chance. Be consistent to your demand. Let the world know that you are not part of you're not part of the evil.
Are yet to wake up from your slumber or your sleep and get the point that we are exiting Nigeria. Exiting Nigeria is not going to come from the platter of golden plate. You have to sacrifice for it. And we are ready to sacrifice everything, including you, if you come and stand in the way of freedom. So you need to know how serious we are. We are damn serious. Some of you are not getting it. You think we are here to build political movement? We are here for freedom. Freedom comes with price. Okay? The only thing you can do is to comment on social media. Don't ever stand on the way of Biafra freedom. We'll crush you.
Their interest is suppressed. Biafra is the key. Once they can hold Biafra down, they can hold the whole of Africa down. Hey, freedom fighting, sorry. Because all these people are criminals, they are saying there is no way this man cannot be a criminal like themselves. They don't have a different breed altogether. They don't know that. I am Nnamdi Kanu. I don't do all this nonsense you do. My father was a very rich man, not ostentatious. I had the finest education that his money could afford. We are not poor. Have never been. That is why a poor man cannot be a freedom fighter. If you're not full of yourself, you cannot be a freedom fighter. You cannot go everywhere. We must continue.